We lost.
To the recording, keep going.
No.
Wait.
Our phone keeps trying to hit Wi-Fi that doesn't exist. We are so sorry.
I'm sorry. At least we're at the bitter end. Oh, sorry, Jordan. You were talking, and my phone apparently is picking on you.
I'm used to it.
Okay, what turns you on about the theater?
Oh. There's no fucking money in it, and and everything about it is really fucking difficult. It's the live interaction. It's like the circular feedback of like creating for a person that you then invite to be part of the experience.
Yeah, for me, it's the intimacy. Like, I feel like with other people, it's like a slow burn of like getting to know them and getting to know about their family. And like with theater, all of that is just cinched in a very hyper-focused way. And so that intimacy I miss and crave.
Yeah, there's something really magical about being able to stand in front of a room of people, tell them who you are and what you are, and have them all believe you. Yeah. And I think it's magic.
Yeah. What turns you off about the theater?
Oh man. Oh no.
I ask deep questions that confuse people.
No, it doesn't confuse me. But it's also just like what's the best way to answer that question? There's a woman that I used to work with who would talk about like sincerity in theater. Whenever she watched really bad plays, she'd be like, "Well, they were being really sincere." And that was just like her way of like undercutting. Like we once saw like a bunch of 19-year-olds do like their own like AIDS epidemic play that was like also dance theater.
Yeah.
And they had done no research, and none of them were from New York, and it was just like what they thought. Like, and she'd always be like, "Oh, it was so sincere." And there is some truth. Like I really do kind of hate like insincerity in theater making, where it's like I just want to see who you are on stage, and it really fucking bums me out when you're just like, I don't know, when you're like, it's like theater's already a lie, so to bring no truth to it fucking bums me out.
I think for me, how hard it can be to do it, especially as an actor. I mean, like, pick a job that is more completely overwhelmed with people who are like, yes, I can and will do that. And so it's just that, like, I mean, that actor is a whole job, and that writer is a whole job, and director is a whole job, and that there is so much pressure, nay, requirement to be this, and the other thing that you take on. And like, yes, life is long, you can learn how to be and do multiple things, but that it is so difficult to be like, I'm an actor and I do that. Let me, please, for the love of God, let me.
Right. I think for me, the fact that you're constantly auditioning, or it feels like you are, even as a director, I feel like that perpetual cycle of auditioning for the next gig is this constant, audition process that you're in.
Well, and it's like sometimes you feel like I just did the work. The work should speak to that. And it is kind of weird when like, it's like, no, the work doesn't speak to it. You now get to, back to the beginning.
Back to square one.
Congrats on your successes. Do it again.
And it's hard not to like tie that into your self-esteem too. I think that's the biggest work you do as a creative is to just be like, I am not trash because I am not working right now.
Yeah, no, we feel that a lot. What was a big personal success in your artistic life, and what did it teach you?
The job that I had before we moved to Cincinnati was I ran this tiny little theater in New York, and I'd started there as an intern, and then just everyone got fired but me, like over like a 6-month period, and it was during the height of the recession.
So Trey became like the general manager
for over 2 years, and it's mostly almost because like we had lost a significant amount of funding, and so we couldn't afford to like hire people. And I knew where all the keys were. And so I ran this theater for 2 years, and I got fairly all right at it by the end of it. Because the first year anyway was just like, it was all just about riding the ship in the height of the storm and keeping it moving. but it's like that, the 10,000 hour rule that Malcolm Gladwell talks about. And it's like, that was just 2 years where I just saw like an insane amount of like, so one group that all they did was they improv Star Trek original series episodes. That was like a thing that happened on Saturdays. And then I watched a woman wear a spider costume, winch herself up into the grid, and then swivel around while words lit up on sculptures that she had hung. It's the worst piece of theater I've ever seen in my life. Watched a woman do a monologue about getting her first period while smashing strawberries into her vagina while sitting on a picnic blanket. But like
it was crazy.
But like who I am as like a writer was radically different after 2 years of watching everyone try everything. And the success was that I got to keep that job and wasn't fired, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, I think a big success and sort of a big marker for me as an actor was I got to star in a movie, and it was a like faith-based, low budget-ish, not like super low budget, but like kind of low budget film. But that like 6 weeks straight of filming and having the like full control over a character arc for the first time, and having it be like, hi, this is you are the one who is responsible for the success and failure of this movie. And that level of responsibility was a big force of adaptation and of confidence for me. Like I learned a lot about just like the filmmaking process. I learned a lot about like my, like what I thought was good acting versus like what actually was good acting, and the responsibility of like, you know, because I had this director it was his first time shooting on like digital over film. So we would go into just like take after take after take after like Kubrickian levels of take numbers. And you just like, don't do that. It's awful. You get diminishing returns. It's not fun for anyone. But that like doing the same thing, you know, over and over again. And just like learning about what you can give and what you can interpret differently from moment to moment, even if it's the same material and the same circumstances, was also really helpful, because I was very like consistent before then, and I am now, but less so, and in a good way. But yeah, so that was it was called A Matter of Faith, and it's an okay movie. It's not a good movie. But yeah, so that was a big one for me. And then that was also right before I started doing like theater again, which was really great too. So yeah, that's, I guess, one.
Yeah, I think for me, directing at Cincinnati Playhouse in the Park this year was a big highlight. Even though the show never opened because of quarantine and stay-at-home orders, I think having made it to that level felt really good.
What's a failure you had in theater in your career, and how did you learn from it? And it's okay if your success and your failure were probably about the same, because I noticed that happens a lot.
Oh, I did a film. I have one. I'm interrupting. I did a film where I was cast in a very small role, but there were like famous people that I knew who I was acting like closely with. And there was a line that I didn't understand and the director didn't understand, and we didn't have access to the writer. And so no one could explain this line. And I had my interpretation. I was like, I'm pretty sure it means this. And the director was like, no, I don't want that. I want something else. So we just like spent probably 20 minutes on set, just like doing it on a roll, just like reading it over and over and over and over and over again until I was ready to jump in front of a train. And then after that, one of the other actors who was well known at the time, he was like a series regular on like a big TV show. And he came up to me and he was just like, thank you for sticking around and for going through all of that. Like, it's really like meaningful and important, and you will be grateful for this experience. And he was right. So yeah. And I was like ready to I was like, I'm never acting. I will never do this again. Like, no, but there's just like that level of communication between an actor and a director, like isn't always there. And it doesn't mean you're bad. Like,
yeah.
Just people communicate differently.
The very first play that Bridget and I self-produced together, back before I knew how to write for like the circumstances of the actual world, I'm just like, no, this is the story as I see it in my mind. I'm just gonna write this story. I'd written a play in which like a character had owned a pull-out sofa and had cut out a big hole in the mattress and hidden a thing in it. It's like a suitcase that's full of a thing. Anyway, the whole play, these two characters are sitting on top of this secret, and at the end of the play, they unfold the mattress, and the secret is there. And it's a bad play, but I liked it a lot when I was 26. And I'd written this play, and I was very happy with everything about the play. And we got into the festival, and then had to find a fucking pull-out couch. But that's terrible.
In New York City.
It's terrible. So we rented a zip car, rented a zip truck, and got a fucking sofa. Then had to convince 3 friends to meet us at the theater to carry it up 3 flights of stairs into the goddamn theater. And then we get there, and we're part of this 1X festival, and everyone else is doing it with fucking black chairs, except for the asshole who showed up
with a pull-out sofa bed.
With a radioactive blue pull-out sofa that he insisted be in his play. And so we rehearse it, and we find a black piece of fabric to drape over it, because no one else, and we were like, does anyone else want to use it? And they're like, no, we don't want to use this. So we've got this blue sofa, and it was Jiraiya Studios in New York City on 34th Street. And the people who owned it was a married couple, and they lived at home 6 hours a day when they slept, and they lived at this theater the other 16 hours a day when they were, or 18 hours a day when they were here, and they had dogs. And so they're like, well, why would we keep dogs at home when we're at the theater more often? So most people have dogs at home and then leave it to go to work. These dogs lived in the theater 24/7, and the married couple just left them to go home and sleep and come back. So we came in for the Sunday matinee of this 1X festival, walk into the theater. We had left the setup because we were the last to go on Saturday, the first to go on Sunday. Walk in, and one of the dogs is leg hiked, pissing all over this sofa because it was just in the room and it smelled like whatever apartment we'd brung it out of. And so for a while we joked that we should call our theater company Dog Piss Theater. And then just didn't, because that's also just a 26-year-old shouldn't be allowed to name theater companies. And then the play ended, and we drug it down that flight of stairs and fucking left it in front of that theater for them to deal with.
I was not our issue anymore.
I'm done with this.
Yeah, I will also name that as my greatest.
Yeah, it was terrible. It was terrible. But really everything.
And the theater was so hot, so it just smelled
you can't clean dog piss an hour before showtime. We're just you're performing on a couch. It's gonna smell and be wet.
Godspeed.
God, yeah. See you at curtain call. What a horrible day.
I can't believe I've never heard that story.
Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah.
I'll probably kick out.
Yeah. Wait, you're back.
Mm-hmm.
Oh man.
Working now?
Yeah.
No, it was like
Any luck?
Like a reel to reel, all the way down.
We might have. Yeah.
Oh.
Hold on. Let's see. Did it work?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Huzzah!
That's amazing. We'll screenshot that.
I had to make Jordan the host so she could temporarily have it. Let me see if I.
Yeah, there we go.
Welcome back.
Cool.
Oh, perfect. Yeah. All right. Last question.
So home stretch, people.
If in 40 years they have a textbook and they were going to make the your name here rule that every kid in theater had to learn, what would that rule be?
My rule just would be about not being precious about the written word. That's the thing that I do really. The thing that I excel at, about being forcing myself to be more selfless when it comes to just allowing other people to have better ideas. Because we had a lot of friends in grad school who were just you didn't put the in the right place, and it's like an infectious behavior. And I give very few fucks about
the
actual written word, as long as we get the story out. And yours would be about speed.
Yeah, no, I do think, I think a bigger, if I were to teach, if it wasn't a textbook, it would be to say please and thank you. I've met a lot of people who are just incredibly rude to ushers, to people who work backstage. And as someone who spent a majority of their job working front of house, people are just rude, and there's just no reason. So yeah, say please and thank you to everyone.
Yeah.
I think mine would be about making sure that you develop trusting spaces for creativity, because I think that there is so much there's so much insecurity and so much anxiety and so much ego and so much everything that like working with people in, I mean, any creative field, right, is incredibly challenging. And with the material that is out there that is important to be performed, you need to be able to create spaces where you can trust the people that you're working with. And I think that a big part of that is creating some sort of like level of like equity with, you know, if you're afraid that you're going to lose your job, you can't be really safe. You can't ever feel like you're able to, you know, be relaxed or trusting in, you know, completely in people. So I think that my rule would be like more of about protection and about comfort, I think, than about anything, because like that's where beautiful, you know, real stuff comes from, is if you can like work with people and trust people. But you know, if you're afraid that your director is going to be like, and just, you know, let's lose the top, you're never going to be able to make it art.
Thank you guys so much, and being patient with every crazy kick out I had. You guys are great. Thank you so much. It was great talking to you.
Thank you.
In the future Fringes.
Please
Yeah.
keep in touch. Like send us. You guys know I'm on Instagram a ton. I'm on Facebook a ton. Just like message us. Like tell us what you're doing next, because we will always shout you out or be there if we can be.
Cool.
Great.
Yeah, this is fun.
Yeah, this is amazing. Thank you guys.
No problem. We love you guys. So all right, you guys leave at your leisure. I will kick out last so it doesn't just like magically disappear on
Cool.
you.
Okay.
Cool. Bye. This is fun.
Hey guys, if you like what we just did, there's going to be plenty more coming up. Please like, comment, subscribe. Our Venmo is in the description. Please support us if you can. Our cats need the money.